Hey, what up, doe? And a special what up, doe, if you're listening on Blue Moon Radio today. My name is Shayla, and you are listening to Radicals for Good, a podcast about the quiet revolutions unfolding around us. We're here at Moondog Cafe, sending them gratitude for letting us use their space today. Radicals for Good is hosted on Wawayatanan, the lands of the Anishinaabe peoples, whose presence and resistance continues today. Detroit is built on Black labor, Indigenous survival, and community love and protection. We honor those whose resistance made our city possible. Today, we're discussing organizing with disabilities and how we can embody disabled revolutionaries in our work. I'm here with Tameka Citchen-Spruce, a disability justice advocate, independent media producer, author, and speaker who uses storytelling to lift voices and challenge exclusive systems. Welcome, Tameka.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So I know that you've produced quite a few documentaries at this point. Can you tell us just how you got here and got into this storytelling aspect and where your passion comes from?
Yes, so my journey into, storytelling and filmmaking is part of, I would say, my passion from an early age. Mm-hmm. I always loved, plays and theater and the arts and, movies and all of those things. I often tell the story that my mom shared that when I was about 8 years old and they were coming, the production of Annie came to Detroit, and I, told my mom, say, I want to audition for Annie.
Yeah.
So I was, I always loved the arts and the stage and such. But on the serious side, in addition to being my passion, I felt that I needed to be in this space and felt a calling in the space because I was involved in a car accident when I was 6 months old, which led me to have a T2 spinal cord injury. So I'm have a paraplegic. So, growing up with a disability, also with being an African-American young woman, I never saw images or stories that I can relate to in movies and TV shows that reflect my experience. And so that's what really fueled me to be like, okay, I need to, and I want to be in this space to be able to tell the stories of my community and the things that we go through because, our stories matter too.
Absolutely. And I think what's really beautiful about your documentaries, I know that you made one about girls that are Black living in Detroit. Did they also have disabilities too?
Yes, one of them did. Yes.
Okay, beautiful. Yeah. And so you're like really wanting to see yourself on screen and people like you on screen. Like that makes sense.
Yes, definitely a lack of representation. And so I know many people, when they go to like, particularly for film, they love to be an actor. And so I did try acting, like in theater. I did later on do that at community college. But the power of creating the stories is into like the producing and the writing and the directing. So I said, well, I'd rather, use my energy towards, telling and creating the story. So that's how, like my girl story or Justifiable Homicide and even the current projects I'm working on is important because I'm able to create those stories.
Yeah, beautiful. What current projects are you working on?
Yeah, so I have two. One is called Divas in the City TV. So
Yes.
it started as a digital series about five black and brown women with disabilities taking their city by storm. And so that was a lot of fun. I have a lot of great women who participated from across the country. So I have one woman that is, her name's Karen Gasparina Quelez, and she's in Rhode Island. And so she tells her story, how she's a children's book author. So she shared her journey. Then I have Cezelle Chauvin O'Gara, and she's from Queens, New York, and she is a choreographer, well-renowned choreographer, danced with Elvin Ailey, and she, has later acquired a disability. She has her own dance company. Then we have in Texas, Kebra Moore. She's has her book publishing company. Then we have Melva, who is blind, and she has her own nonprofit, Living Beyond Limits in Texas. And then we also had Natalia Mendez, and she's from, I believe, Brooklyn, New York. So you see them telling their stories, and it's a digital series. And so from there, I turned it to like a media platform, to tell their stories, but then also different women stories in the community. So, I love that platform. And
That's so cool. So many incredible women too. Yeah,
yes,
that's awesome.
Really show, what our lives is like as entrepreneurs, but then also their mothers and wives and things like that too. So really get a unique look into their lives. And then I also have a feature-length documentary that is coming out. We're trying to go into the production stage, but it's called Autistic Out Loud.
Okay.
And it follows four black and autistic people in their fight to, for inclusion and radical joy for black autistic people. And so that's another example of them, fighting and showing, especially during this time, under the Trump administration and all the challenges that they face as autistic people, or, and also as autistic parents, but they also as black people too. And also one of them is from Tobago. So, you have the immigrant, story of that, and her including her son including her son into their cultural Trinidadian heritage.
Yeah.
So it's really a rich documentary, and I'm producing with my friends, Juliet Romeo, who's also a disabled woman that's a filmmaker, and Kashmir Jasmine, who's also neurodivergent and a director. So we all came together and say we want to tell these stories. So, I just love, bringing the community together and being community-led, which is important for me as well, to tell the story.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. And I think like the radical joy piece too, we all deserve to have joy, and especially radical joy. And it's I think it's radical on its own to be joyful, even when you have all of these systems going up against you, right?
Yes. And to really see, and that's a stroke suit for all of the subjects people are going to be featured. You'll see their joy. So with TJ, he's really into anime and it's like comics and things. So you're going to see in the film him, participating in his, anime conventions and stuff. He's a blurred, so black nerd.
Okay.
So he,
cool.
You can see that. But with Jennifer Johnson White, she's neurodivergent, and her son Knox, and she's an artist. And so that's what she does. She goes around the country teaching disabled people the art form of joy. So that's all she's about. So, and particularly autistic Black joy is, what the community, what we call it too. So, because with autism, and neurodivergent, also you see like a hyper when like once they really love something,
Yes.
they like really focus on
Yeah.
it, and it really brings them joy. So I'm
Absolutely.
excited to show also what autistic joy and autistic Black joy looks like to people.
That's really good work, Tameka. Thank you for doing that. Yeah.
Yes.
You also produced a PBS documentary about Thomas Wiggins. Can you tell us a little bit about him and why you chose to do a documentary about him specifically?
Yes. So I was asked to do it by a wonderful filmmaker and a friend of mine, Day El Muhammad. She's also a disabled woman filmmaker.
Okay.
And so she partnered, her and her team partnered with PBS American Masters to do this series called The Renegades. And so it was important to her to have, it tells 5 stories, so to have 5 teams of all disabled filmmakers telling these stories. And so I was blessed and fortunate enough that she asked me to tell Thomas Wiggins' story in particular, because it is believed that he had autism as well. And so she knew I was working on a documentary. So that's why she came to, ask me and the team that I was working with at the time to join
That's awesome.
the series. So it was a wonderful process,
Yeah.
working for PBS, working within the system. I'm used to being independent. So working with the system like PBS was a very rewarding, job to have.
Yeah.
And so for those who don't know, Thomas Wiggins was a enslaved prodigy pianist. He was born in, I would say, 1830
Okay.
or so. No, I think 1830, 1840. And so he, when he was enslaved, his slave master noticed that he could play the piano verbatim, like just by hearing it.
Wow.
And so once he saw that around 5 years old, and he was, initially like, you would say that he was born blind. So once he found out that he was able to do that, he traveled, he had as a slave master to across the country, even the world. He played in Europe, and he was the first Black person to play at the White House, and things like that. And so even after slavery, and this is what the documentary goes into, how he was still taken advantage of. And his mother even tried to, her name was Charity Wiggins, and she tried to fight for him, guardianship. And so you see that, how she tried to do that through the film, but was never able to, become his guardian. And so he died about 1920, and he earned like over $1 million in his lifetime, and you barely seen any of it. So it really shows also what it was like to be a disabled, enslaved person as well. And then when you have a gift like being able to play the piano, and how you are seen as a Black man, as a Black disabled man, a human oddity. Because that is another thing that many Black disabled people had to go through during slavery times, but then also after slavery, and they looked different or had a gift. They were paraded around like they call like a human oddity by P.T. Barnum. And so, so the film is only 10 minutes, so we only had like 10 minutes to tell his story, but, you really get to see it, and it was very proud to be able to help tell his story to a wider audience.
Absolutely. And it's like, I'm glad that we are telling his story. Even though his mother never got guardianship and he never got to see any of that money, like his story of resilience and his talent continues to be told. And that's really beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah. Are there any other disabled revolutionaries that kind of come to your mind that you think about or embody in your work?
Let's see.
Even if it's like disability justice work too, because I know we're talking a lot about your filmmaking, but you also do a lot of disability justice advocacy. And I'm just wondering what other disabled revolutionaries you're thinking about and bringing into your work.
Yes, there's a couple that come to my mind.
Yeah.
I would say one of them is Brad Lomax.
Yes.
He was during the fight of the 504 sit-in, so that was the Rehabilitation Act, which was a precursor to the 1990s Americans with Disabilities Act. So with the Rehab Act, it made sure that the federal government prohibited discrimination based on disability. And so there was a whole bunch of disabled people during the 70s, like, Judy Heumann, which is really talked about and I looked up to. And there's, many others who fought for that legislation to pass around like 1973. And so, but Brad Lomax in particular, he was part of the Black Panther Party. And so
Cool.
He saw the connection between fighting for disabilities rights and it also being a Black Panther. And so he brought in San Francisco a lot of his Black Panther friends to participate in the sit-in in San Francisco. And so he comes to mind. Also, Fannie Lou Hamer. Many people don't know, but she had a disability as well. She walked with a limp due to polio. And also, during the time that she was in jail, she was beaten and had a blood clot in her eye as well. And so, I think many people know, Fannie Lou Hamer, but for those who don't know, she was a great civil rights activist during the 60s and 70s when it comes to voting rights as access, and she was very instrumental trying to bring the Democratic Party to, bring more African Americans into the fold and into voting rights and such. So I love Fannie Lou Hamer. And then the last person I really look up to and like channel as far as her energy and tenacity is Harriet Tubman, who also many people don't know she had a disability during, I think she was like a teenager, and her slave master hit her in the head with like a brick or object. And so as a consequence, she had epilepsy.
Oh,
And
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's reports and she talks about blacking out and seeing visions and things like that. So, but everybody know Harriet Tubman, she led so many people to freedom, and she was just this short, lady. I think she was like 4'11" or something, but she was mighty and she was fierce and she was determined to, lead her people to freedom and to make sure she's there for her community afterwards. And
That's amazing. And I think
yes.
too, for me, I have an invisible disability. And so a lot of people don't see me and think, oh, yeah, she's disabled. It's something that I actually have to share out loud.
Yes.
Right. And so it's really interesting to learn about other radicals that had disabilities that we didn't know about. Right. And now I know Harriet Tubman had epilepsy. I was really excited to go to Cuba, and I forgot to mention this on my Cuba episode last month, but Fidel Castro actually had the same disability that I had later on in his life. He had chronic fatigue syndrome. He had fibromyalgia, like later on after surgeries. And I always used to think like, well, if Fidel Castro can be revolutionary, so can I.
Yeah.
If he can have chronic fatigue syndrome and be fatigued all the time like I am, I can do it too,
Yeah.
And so it's important that we have like these radicals, these revolutionaries that we look up to, like we know the fullness of them.
Yes. Yeah, that's important. And that's why I try, even with, my work, that's one of the things I have a presentation that goes into the history of African Americans from enslavement up until now. And so there's many people, like I mentioned, Harriet Tubman and, and Fannie Lou Hamer and even just to see from the disability perspective, disability justice, black people black disabled people who fought, but then there's also black disabled people who fought for civil rights that, is rarely even talked about. I know there's one, and his name escapes me, but I think his name is Kenneth. His first name is Kenneth, but he was a minister and he was involved in the civil rights movement, and he was a little person.
Oh, okay.
And so,
yeah.
and you see him in some of the videos during like on the march or the photos, and you see a picture of him. He was a little person, a minister. And I know there's another one named Elias Hill. And he had a disability. I think he was in South Carolina, and he fought he was one of the first people to speak out against the Ku Klux Klan during the 1870s. And so they came after him and everything. And so he was instrumental. I think he went to Liberia in Africa and things like that. He was one of the first founders of like Liberia.
Wow.
And he did all this from a wheelchair.
Wow.
So there's so many stories that we don't know about. And so, and I know that's myself, and there's many other comrades with disabilities who's particularly black and disabled that's, want to tell these stories so people know that they exist,
Yeah, and I think it's like it adds to their complexity as human beings, like we're doing them an injustice by not speaking about them as a full person. I think also I just want to name too Alice Wong, just because she passed, I think last year, a couple of years ago. She was also one, I consider her a liberatory ancestor of mine. But I think it's because she has a disability and she's done so many like incredible writings and workings and like lifting other people's voices.
Yes, most definitely. She was awesome.
Yeah.
They done a lot of great work.
Yeah. And speaking of like disability justice spaces, I know that you've been active for like 15 plus years in doing disability justice work. If you were to think about like, if you were to have an ideal organizing justice focused space, what would it look like for you?
Oh, wow. So I would say what it would look like is and this what I try, what I do within my work is heavy radical inclusion, because I think it's important to always think about who's not in the space, of doing the work. Also, thinking about bringing in, it goes along with inclusion, but bringing in various types of disabilities and voices to the table, because I think that sometimes it's easy when you have a particular disability to just focus on that. So like, okay, I have a spinal cord injury, so I just focus on spinal cord injuries, but I don't like to do that. I think, it's
Yeah.
important to, when it comes to doing disability justice work, which is one of the principles, there's 10 principles of just disability justice. So it's, cross disability solidarity. So making sure, that people with mental health conditions are at the table, or make sure, people with chronic illnesses are at the table,
Yeah.
and those who are visually impaired, or deaf and hard of hearing. Also, people with physical disabilities, and those with cognitive disabilities. So,
Absolutely.
just really create an environment where, all of our voices can be heard, and we can try to, work together to solve the issues that we face as disabled people,
Right.
but then also as, people of color, also as women, or as, queer and such. So
Yeah.
intersectionality, and make sure that the voices are at the table, and giving them access means to be at the table, is, I think, is ideal, justice space.
Absolutely. And I love that term radical. What did you say? Radical inclusion?
Yeah.
Radical inclusion. Yes. Like I often when I'm in organizing spaces, I usually ask for like remote tasks, because I know my body, and I know that I operate a lot off of the saying, the revolution will be from bed, right? I don't know if you've seen that.
Yes,
It's like a framework of how can we build out these movements where people can literally be in bed and doing the tasks or the remote work that is leading to revolution, right? So I'm always like, okay, this is great. I really want to help fundraise. How can I do that from my bed? Can I do that? And if I can't, is there somehow like a way that I could lean in that way? And I feel like there's so many examples of radical inclusion that we could probably give on this podcast.
Yeah, so much. Yes, yeah. And that's what I like about the disability justice framework, I don't know if those know, but so disability justice was started by three queer women of color with disabilities. And so they were very intentional with like some of the things that I just shared, intersectionality, collaborating with other movements and such, because oftentimes when it comes to disability rights movement, and disability justice was like, it's relatively new, started like around 2005 or such, so it's relatively new. But prior to that, disability was oftentimes led by white disabled people, and it just focused on disability.
Right.
That's it. So there
Right.
really wasn't an account for what does that look like for when you add race or sexual orientation or different things into an account. So that's what disability justice does. It brings all of those
that intersectional perspective.
Like,
and I'm thinking about housing for some reason. Like disabled people, we need to be housed, right? And then there's also like these other complexities of race and gender and all of those things and income status, right?
Exactly.
And if you're not fully thinking about that, you're not going to have a housing system that meets the needs of everybody, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so disability justice framework really pushes everybody to, have that radical inclusion, and it really changes the perspective. I know one of the things that I did previous before is to work with nonprofit organizations, or how to be more inclusive to disabled employees from a disability justice framework. And it's like really an eye-opener. And the people who are the leaders who participated, it's like really flipped the script on them, but they really was happy to learn so much from it because it really, creates a more happier environment. It's challenging, but to have radical inclusion is good because if employees can feel can be their full selves and can work to their full capacity when accommodation needs are met, then it has a happier and better workplace and a better bottom line. To the business as well.
And I think too, like something that I've seen is accommodations benefit all of us, like if someone receives an accommodation for working from home, this is before COVID pandemic, right? Like if someone had an accommodation to work from home once a week and the employees all just, if they had the chance, could work from home for that one day a week, that benefited everybody, not just the person that needed the accommodation.
Exactly.
I love to see it. I love to see it when I see it. I'll be honest, I feel a bit discouraged after the COVID-19, after the pandemic, even though COVID's still around. We know that. But like, during the pandemic, during the height of the pandemic, it seemed like more employers were open to having completely remote work. They were open to not even necessarily calling them accommodations. It was just like a policy that everyone got to benefit from. And now it's like everyone's back in person. And so now as a disabled person, we have to like, once again, say we need remote working conditions or we need this or we need that. And it kind of, I don't know if you feel that, but I've certainly felt that over the last couple of years of just like this push back into office and like pushing out people with disabilities a bit.
That is true. The more of the push of the in-person, but then also I think what I've seen within particularly with the Trump administration, the anti-DEI environment also really hinders and create more an environment where, you have employers don't feel like they have to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because
they're like not even trying.
Because it's like it's DEIs. We, after, that era is done.
Shame.
So I think that is part of it as well.
Oh, it's a shame. Yeah. Okay, so I have just one last question for you. What does it mean to live a radical life? Or what does your radical life look like day to day?
Oh, let's see. That's a really good question. Maybe really think about it when I read the question. I think radical day looks like to me just getting up and try to, really to fight for, my dreams. It could be sometimes, challenging, being disabled, or, just be the things that might come against, me, societal expectations, or whatever the case may be. So just really, it's like, okay, I'm going to wake up every day, thank God that I'm, woke up, and
Yes.
just, fight for, my dreams. That means to be, telling stories, continuously to tell that. I'm at a stage right now where I am like fundraising, and also trying to scale, my business, and to the point
Awesome.
where I am, I'm, looking for money
Yeah.
to do, because it takes money to produce, films, and digital series to continue to tell these people's stories. And so whenever I talk to them and things like that, they tell me what's going on, or, things that they want to be shown. It's like, okay, I gotta tell these stories, because it's just what they go through. It really inspires me, and it really pushes me to, raise the money and do what it takes to, get these stories told, as a producer. So, and filmmaking is very, very hard.
Yeah.
One of the hardest things to do, as far as, career-wise sometimes, especially as a, producer, because the bus stops with you, So whether if you raise money, it's going to get done. If you don't raise money, it's not going to get done. Just like with being an entrepreneur. So there is a lot of pressure, to really fight and to do what it needs to take, what it needs to be done to, get these stories told. Also, I think it's really important for me, radically, to be fully present for my kids.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's that being a mother is important to me as well. I have a 13 and 14-year-old.
Yeah.
So
That's also really radical, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, to have children, and to be disabled. Even though really, when it comes to disability, it really isn't as hard to raise them as compared to when they were younger.
Oh, okay.
And going
Yeah.
out and, dealing with people and stuff's a little bit more better now. But, just being fully present and trying to continuously instill, values, so that they could be, the best that they could be, and see their beauty, as Black children, as a Black boy, and as a Black girl, is really important to me. And just really radically just be the, best person to be as well. I think character, is important. Trying to show compassion and empathy, trying to be present for people, I think is important too, as an activist, but then also, as a Christian, trying to be more, like they say, be more like Christ, every day, is, really important to me, because you can have money, you can have fame, you can do all that, but if you don't know how to treat people, and if you're not present for your family, then, really doesn't matter to me at the end. So
Yeah, yeah. And I can imagine too, like you said at the beginning of this episode, that you really wanted to see yourself on the screen. So I imagine too, you have like some of that internal pressure to like want to see yourself, like yourself in these stories too, or see yourself in your children as well. So
yes, yeah.
I really admire that.
See that, and to, tell the stories, and I've been to, talk to industry people, like I've met with, Oprah's people as far as, her network and, so I've talked to and I've been in spaces with, major networks and people and, and I've been to California too, and that's a place where a lot of dreams, die per se. So when you go to LA, you go to Hollywood, you're going to see the poverty. You're going to see the drugs. You can see a lot of different things because, I don't know how to say it. Like they sell you like a dream, like a pipe, and like all fame and success and more particularly fame and money and some people do anything, to get it. And once you get into the industry, it's a lot of gatekeeping. A lot of gatekeeping, a lot of hurdles you have to jump over. And so it's it's extremely hard to become mainstream per se, to get like on a network or to, get larger platforms at times,
I see.
and to tell these stories. And so, so it's easy to kind of get lost in that, so I think it's important to, radically is to know what's important, to be grounded.
Stay true in your values.
Yes, stay true to your values and be grounded and know what story are you telling, and not to allow yourself to be compromised, by the higher people, the gatekeepers and stuff, because it's like I come to the point whether I, can get on Oprah old TV or not, which the people there are very nice. So I'm not saying anything against them. They're very, very nice people. But, it's like, okay, how would tell these stories?
Yeah.
Like
the main thing that's like important for you is to tell the story.
Yeah.
Right.
Regardless
and
if I get access, if it be quote, unquote mainstream or not, I'm going to, create my own table. Don't try to, fight to be at another table that isn't ready for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a word. And honestly, I would argue that your table's a lot cooler, a lot better, a lot more radical. So yeah, very, very true. And we like to ask our listeners, we usually end the episode with asking our listeners to step outside their comfort zone and take action towards collective good. What would you recommend for our listeners to do?
Yeah. So I would say to support disability justice organizers, artists,
Yes.
in the state and city that you live in. You can Google. I know there's a couple that comes to mind. There's Words on Wheels, Metropolitan Detroit. I do a lot of volunteering for them. So
Detroit Disability Power,
that's what I was
maybe?
about to say. Yeah, Detroit Disability Power, Wars on Wheels. Those two organizations do really good work, and they always, need donation dollars. Also, shameless plug, support me.
Yes.
Support my work. So I am, like I said, fundraising for Autistic Out Loud. One of the people that's in the film is from Detroit.
Oh, cool.
Her name is Yolanda Harris. A shout out to her. She's an awesome lady. Her story in particular, she was, she experienced what a lot of autistic and neurodivergent people, particularly Black people, face, and she was late diagnosed. So she wasn't diagnosed with her autism until she was 58.
Oh, wow.
So in her story, it shows her whole career in corporate America, human resources, and, you know, all the challenges that she faced and the labels that she was placed on her. And I would say, based upon my knowledge and friendship with other autistic people, you know, what labels they're placed on them before they can even get the diagnosis of autism or neurodivergent ADHD, ADD, and stuff like that. So really tells her stories, but she's in a place where she's giving back and she's working with other neurodivergent young adults and people, helping them navigate the workplace. So you see her story in Detroit doing that. So I would say to
That'll
support
be really good to
that.
see. Yeah.
Yes, it's Autistic Out Loud documentary. We're on Instagram and YouTube, and then have a link tree so you can you know,
We can
donate.
definitely share too.
Yeah, donate to that. Or if you want your story to be told, because in addition to telling these stories, we have a space where people can give commentary, you know, to their own stories, or if they want to work on crew, you know, once we come to Detroit. So give to that. Also, I brought my book here, so I was able to have the privilege of writing my story
You want it?
in leadership. It's called Women in Leadership Anthology. And so it's comprised of 5 Black women in leadership. And so so their stories are in here. One of them is Yolanda. She's able to write her story.
Great.
And my friend Juliet, who's working with me. And then my story. So in my story, I tell it, my title is From No to Yes, a Black Disabled Woman's Leadership Journey. So I tell my story in how the challenges that I faced being a Black disabled woman, and the obstacles and the upfront discrimination that I've experienced in filmmaking, and just, you know, my leadership journey. So you can pick this up on Amazon as well. So yeah, just I think donate to me and picking up my book, but then also please support other disabled artists and organizations in your area.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Tameka.
Yes,
It was great hearing from you and seeing you.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for making space with us today. We ask that you share our episode and also like and subscribe to our podcast, Radicals for Good podcast. And remember, the revolution might not always be televised, but it's likely in your own backyard or even within yourself.